It's Tuesday again, and I would like to hang with you lads, but I'm off to listen to the new episode of the Slaven Selection Show. Play now or stay in dark forever.
You might be thinking, OMG, I have to wait another 13 years for another super blue moon. But guess what? For what I'm going to talk about today, you won't even need to wait, because by then, you'll probably be in the good old great emptiness. Nothingness, whatever you want to call it. It's roughly an 80-year cycle. And I can already hear those in the religious community telling me that even though the universe is perfect, how does it know that humans live for 80 years on average? This is a phenomenon that happens every generation. And I'm frequently entertained by the extent of naive anthropocentrism exhibited by numerous individuals. Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm not even attempting to refute someone who thinks that the universe is centered around pretty intelligent chimps like us. Certainly, Northern Crown sounds like something from the television show Game of Thrones, and certainly a lot of Canadians will be able to relate to such a regal and impressive title. The North is correct. A 1787 sighting is included in a Reverend Francis Wollaston catalog that was released in 1789. Between now and September of 2024, the star is predicted to experience another outburst, completing its approximately 80-year cycle of outbursts. And this is what we call a recurrent nova. So, what is it all about? Well, a nova that periodically explodes repeatedly is known as a recurrent nova, as I have said. And when a white dwarf star, usually a main sequence star or a red giant, accretes material from its companion star, the binary star system experiences these outbursts. Pressure and temperature rise as hydrogen builds up on the white dwarf surface, eventually leading to a thermonuclear runaway reaction. The star suddenly brightens as a result of this interaction and then gradually dims. In contrast to classical nova, which usually only have one reported outburst, recurrent nova has several recorded eruptions spanning decades. For recurring nova, the interval between eruptions varies from 10 to 100 years, depending on which star are we talking about. And during an outburst, these stars can brighten by roughly 9 magnitudes, which is marginally less than the brightening observed in traditional novae. There are 10 known recurring nova in the Milky Way. The recurrent explosions that take place on time scales faster than a century define these recurrent nova. They're thought to be possible progenitors of Type 1a supernova and are important in the research of catastrophic variable stars. Yeah, and today, this is what we're talking about. TCRB is a binary star system in the Corona Borealis constellation that is 3 light-year distant. It is made up of white dwarf and a red giant that revolve around one another every 228 days. The white dwarf receives material from the red giant on a constant basis, and this material builds up and finally causes a thermonuclear explosion, which produces a spectacular nova. TCRB has historically erupted around every 80 years, as I have said. The most recent eruption was recorded in 1946, just after the Second World War. The system is predicted to explode with a brightness spike that could match the North Star's magnitude plus 2 brilliance. For several days, this amazing event will be seen without a telescope, and for more than a week, it might be seen with binoculars. Guys, seriously, if you have time and money, both get a tent, go outside the city, enjoy the view. Well, we have to start somewhere, so how about the location for a start? In the northern celestial hemisphere, there is a minor constellation called Corona Borealis. It is still one of the 88 constellations that exist today, having been included in Ptolemy's list of 48 constellations in the 2nd century of writing. A semicircular arc is formed by its brightest stars. Its shape gave rise to its Latin name, which translates to Northern Crown. The corona borealis in Greek mythology typically symbolized the crown that the goddess Dionysus bestowed upon the Cretan princess Ariadne, who then placed it in the heavens. The pattern was compared to a smoke hole, a bear's cave, an eagle's nest, or a circle of elders by people from other cultures. A southern counterpart with a similar pattern, Corona Australis, was also listed by Ptolemy, by the way. The official constellation boundaries, as set by Belgian astronomer Eugene Delporte in 1930, are defined by a polygon of 8 segments, and the 7 stars that make up the constellation's distinctive crown-shaped pattern are all 4th magnitude stars except for the brightest of them, Alpha Coronae Borealis. The other 6 stars are Theta, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, and Iota Coronae Borealis. The German cartographer and lawyer Johann Bayer, who lived from 1572 to 1625, is most remembered for his 1603 publication of the star atlas Uranometria, a celestial cartography. 12 recently created constellations were added to this atlas, which was the first to span the whole celestial sphere to help fill in the far southern sky. John Flamsteed did likewise with New Corona Borealis, classed by Bayer as a single star. It was noted to be the 2 close stars by Flamsteed, and he named them 20 and 21 Coronae Borealis in his catalog. The first astronomer royal was the notable English astronomer John Flamsteed, who lived from 1646 to 1719, and he was born in Denbigh, Derbyshire, but his health issues kept him from going to college until much later in life. He pursued solo astronomical studies, and it was praised for his exacting observations. After Flamsteed was named the King's Astronomical Observer in 1675, the Royal Observatory at Greenwich was established, and he carried out a great deal of astronomical research there. The star catalogue that made him most famous was Historia Celestia Britannica, which was released after his death in 1725 and included nearly 3,000 stars with positions that were noticeably more accurate than those in earlier catalogues. This effort served as a precursor to contemporary star cataloging. In addition, Flamsteed made some of the first known sightings of Uranus, mislabeling it as a star 34 Tauri. Conflicts with notable people like Edmund Halley and Isaac Newton marked his career, especially when it came to publishing his observations. When Halley published part of Flamsteed's work in 1712 without giving him credit, Flamsteed burned a lot of copies of the book in spite of his protestations. And during his lifetime, Flamsteed made enormous contributions to astronomy. He is renowned for his meticulous observations and cataloging of celestial bodies, which helped to advance the science. Corona Borealis also contained few galaxies observable with amateur telescopes. In Greek mythology, Corona Borealis was linked to the legend of Theseus and Minotaur, and it was generally considered to represent a crown given by Dionysius to Ariadne, the daughter of Minos of Crete, after she had been abandoned by the Athenian prince Theseus. In Mesopotamia, Corona Borealis was associated with the goddess Nanaya. In Welsh mythology, it was called Caer Arnhod, the castle of the silver circle. I'm not sure if I pronounced it well, but this is really I'm breaking my tongue. And was the heavenly abode of the Lady Ariantrod, I think. And to the ancient Balts, Corona Borealis was known as Dargelis, or the flower garden. The Arabs called the constellation Alpheka, a name later give Alpha Corona Borealis, which means separated or broken up, Alpha Ka, a reference to the resemblance of the stars of Corona Borealis to a loose string of jewels. And this was also interpreted as a broken dish. Among the Bedouins, the constellation was known as Kaskat al-Masakin, or the dish bowl of the poor people. Corona Borealis was renamed Corona Firmiana in honor of the Archbishop of Salzburg in 1730. Atlas Mercuri Philosophici Fermentum Firmianum Descriptionem by Corbianus Thomas, but this was not taken up by subsequent cartographers. The constellation was featured as a main plot ingredient in the short story Hypnos by H.P. Lovecraft, published in 1923. It is the object of fear of one of the protagonists in the short story. I never liked Lovecraft very much for some reason, but who cares? I'm just saying. Finnish band Catacross released an album titled Corona Borealis in 2002. So, T. Corona Borealis, also known as the Blaze Star, is a notable star within the Corona Borealis constellation. It is a recurrent nova, as I have said, meaning it experiences periodic outbursts where it dramatically brightens. Normally, T. Corona Borealis has a visual magnitude of about 10, but during its outbursts, it can brighten to a magnitude as high as 2, making it visible to the naked eye. There have been documented eruptions in 1866 and 1946, and these phenomena take place where a thermonuclear explosion on the star surface causes it to brighten noticeably. And the binary system T. Corona Borealis is made up of a white dwarf and a red giant. When enough material from the red giant is accreted by the white dwarf, periodic nova occurrences result. So, T. Corona Borealis remains an object of interest for astronomers due to its recurrent nova behavior, which provides insights into the processes occurring in binary star systems. So TCRB normally has a magnitude of about 10, which is near the limit of typical binoculars. Well-documented outbursts have been seen twice, reaching magnitude 2.0 on May 12, 1866, and magnitude 3.0 on February 9, 1946, though a more recent paper shows that the 1866 outburst with a possible peak range of magnitude 2.5. Even when at peak magnitude of 2.5, this recurrent nova is dimmer than about 120 stars in the night sky. It is sometimes, again, nicknamed the Blaze Star. So, folks, this was my second double-double this summer, so-called double episode. Hopefully I won't have to do another one. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm thinking of depending on how much work will I have to do. If I go to work in production again for 11 hours a day, then I will most likely do this again. So I'm thinking of introducing another subject on Thursdays, but we'll see about that. But it's not the first time I'm thinking of it. So I'm keep thinking and reimagining the way this podcast might go. My work volume is so unpredictable, not even Ethan Hawke can get me out of it. So anyways, the summer is still here. Go somewhere out this light polluting mess whenever it happens if you can. Find the Northern Crown constellation close to the Boreas and Hercules constellation to witness this celestial show. To locate the TCRB nova explosion, draw an imaginary line between Arcturus and Vega, the two brightest stars in the northern hemisphere. Also, don't forget your marmot sleeping bag, beef jerky, and size binoculars, and a Coleman with some cool brewskis inside. Start digging through the ice, pick your favorite fermented liquid, look up, and, as always, stay selective. Bye-bye.